JT is feeling the heat. Simone's feeling like a natural woman. And Mr. Cornelius finally meets the legendary Miss Diana Ross. Stay tuned. We've got so much to talk about.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
You can't get funky to this.
They talked about the funky chicken.
Oh, you could kind of
Oh,
get...
we could do the funky
You
chicken.
could.
Let me get a bit. AfterBuzz TV. But we making it look more like...
What is up, guys? We're back for another episode of American Soul. Obviously, our girl, Nakia, is not here, but she'll be back with us next week. But the rest of the crew is here. I'm your girl, Drew Jones. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
Hello, everybody. I am LMarie. And I'm your girl, DShawnaO, back from having laryngitis, you guys. I missed you to death. Thank you so much.
We missed you.
I watched the show and I was grooving at home, but I wasn't able to talk about it. Now I'm ready to talk about it.
We're able to talk about anything. But we have so much to talk about tonight, including our special segment, Soul Spotlight. We're going to have to switch it up a little bit because YouTube is a bunch of haters. But we still got somebody that we want to shine some light on and, you know, get down and funky with. So, ladies, what was your all's initial thoughts of tonight's episode?
Shocking. Because there were a few shocking parts this episode for me. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely jumped a little bit. I did a little, like, they were showing it for real. I didn't know that they were going to show those hits like that. And it touched on a lot of issues that we need to discuss. Police brutality and marriage and pregnancy, possibly. So there was a lot of little tidbits that we got today.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know about you all, but when I start watching a new show, it takes me a couple episodes to get names down. And I feel like episode 4/5 is normally when I'm starting to get them.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. Forgive us if, you know, we maybe...
I'm the same way. So
we
as
forget
I was
a
writing
name
down,
or two.
Tessa, dancer.
Yeah. I was like,
too.
IMDbing. I was like, okay, what is...
Yeah.
But... Listen, we're here. We're ready to get down and funky. Let's get into our boy JT because he is really going through it this episode. We obviously know that he was a part of that mission that went wrong in the death of a cop.
Yeah.
And so the episode opens up with him kind of with his boys and an innocent man, Dexter Brown, gets arrested for... the crime of shooting this cop. How are you all feeling about the entirety of this storyline?
That's kind of why I said it like shocking, because when they the police were coming to arrest them, well, you know, JT hears those sirens and he thinks it's for him, you know, like, oh, they've caught us. But his friend, who I forget his name, he's telling him, like, calm down, we're good. Because when the police did the bust and, like, JT kind of wants to run and the guy stopped him, I'm like, why are you stopping him? Maybe you guys should run. And it's like, well, no, let's just face the music. And then he's like, no, the other guy that was in the hospital, like, he's got us, he's going to take care of us. And they gave up someone else to Dexter Brown, and they claim he was a snitch. But, like, I definitely thought they were coming for JT and the friend. And I thought, I was like, oh, I know it's not going to be over because JT has, you know what I mean? But I just thought it was going to get a little bit sticky with arresting him. So I was shocked that it was like, oh, it didn't go that way. Okay.
It went worse than that. I mean, I feel so bad. I feel like I keep hearing snitches get stitches in my head. Like, literally. It completely reiterates the idea that, of course, in the Black community and who knows where else, but in those days, for sure, it was like, okay, if you snitch, you will be punished, and whether it's by the police department or the people who you're working with, which were the Crips, right? When the Crips were starting to begin, he said it was... they were trying to do something right, but that guy is evil. I don't like his energy. Yeah. The friend, he is not a friend. He is like, he's the one who snitched. He's like, oh, an anonymous tip came through. A concerned citizen? Really? So if somebody's going to get him, that's how karma works.
Yeah.
So.
The entire Dexter point of the story was very haunting for me because it gave me there are so many people I thought of from the news today. Like, we find out later in the episode, he allegedly hangs himself in his cell after getting beaten by the police. And I instantly started thinking of, like, as far as, like, getting beat by the police, I started thinking about, like, Alton Sterling and, like, all these different names. And
Eric
then when
Gardner.
magically dying in a cell, I was like, Sandra Bland. Like, you know, all these names started popping up. And it was really hard to watch just because it was like, this is in the 70s. It's 2019 right now. And this is something that's still very much
relevant. And still happening.
Exactly. Yeah. But that is not the only, you know, tough bump in the road that JT's going through. He and his family are getting evicted. And so by the grace of Ma, he's able to stay in a storage room in the back, but there are some issues with that.
Yeah. And I kind of thought that because his mom, you know, she unfortunately she's an addict, you know, and she's not really a recovering addict. She's only clean a few days, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's more so like you just kind of go back and forth, you know what I mean? It's like for someone like that, you have to be like sober for months before it's really like, oh, you're recovering, you know what I mean? So it's basically, that's your mom. You always want to look at her in a positive light, but Ma was like, okay, I'm gonna try and give her a job. But, you know, basically, like, I'm going to keep my eye on her. And then basically she kind of steals. And then she comes back from her break. And you can tell she clearly is high when she comes back.
So it's,
yeah, it's disappointing. But Ma's like, I got you to JT. Like, I got you and I got baby girl, like his little sister. But the mom, she's got to be out of here. But, you know, but that's still hard on him because you can see these past few episodes, he loves his mom. Even though she's putting him in a tough position, still at the end of the day, like, that's his mom and he loves her. So...
You know that for a fact. I mean, because he ended up punching the landlord after he said something a little slick.
About $1 million mouth. I was like,
I was confused at first, but then I thought about it and I was like, oh, Mama is doing a lot. Mama needs to sit down somewhere. When you become someone's mother, you need to be responsible for them. JT is clearly disappointed with this whole situation. He even took some hits. I looked up on his Twitter. The guy's name is Christopher Jefferson. And he even wrote that those were real hits. And he was sore the next day from that. And I feel like it's the mama's fault. Like, if the mom wouldn't just act right, our poor guy wouldn't have had to get all hit up. So that was
true.
tough to look at. It was also difficult to see the pattern of when you try to help somebody, when they're an addict, and you're trying to help the family, that person truly brings it down to the point where you all can't get any help.
Yeah. I am kind of worried for JT right now because Simone and Kendall come in and see him at work, and he asks Ma, you know, not to tell them what the situation is, and she says you shouldn't lie to people you love. And Simone is ready to get into the studio, and the studio is $800, and they're already putting in money, and she gives it to JT.
Immediately, you just need to know common sense, everybody. If their mama is an addict, that money is up for grabs. He could be in his pocket. True. It could be anywhere. And she would be searching through it, trying to get it.
True.
So I don't think that they made the right choice.
I didn't even think about
to give
that.
It to JT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was thinking that, and this is not to, you know, say this is a bad part of JT or that this is his character, if he's even going to do that. But I was actually thinking himself, like, he may take that money because they need, you know, the money for the apartment, even though Ma, like, so like, even though, you know, Ma's helping out, it's like I still need this money, you know what I mean? So, and like I said, it's not to make him, you know, look bad, but, you know, when your back is against the wall, you make certain choices sometimes, you know. So I was looking at it like he might take that money.
And
I was thinking he just had a nice time with Simone in that car, and he is not thinking about doing nothing against her. He is there to encourage her. If she wants to freeze up on a song, he gonna come up there and play his guitar and get her singing again. I feel like he's there for Simone, but you know, his mom, she's not there for Simone.
I also I feel for him though, because I think when you are in a situation where you have somebody in your life who's an addict or somebody in your life who's going through that, and you are, as someone who has someone in their life who's an addict, when you are friends with people who don't have that situation, it's really hard to talk about it because it's like, to other people, things can be very black and white, this is the rational way to go about it. But when you're actually in it, it's a little bit more gray than that. So I kind of understand where he's coming from about not being completely upfront, because it's like, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want you looking at me in a different light.
Yeah. And especially with Kendall, because Kendall, even when JT was like, so they're all trying to put their money together, and JT's like, he's got like $3. And Kendall's like, yeah, typical, like it figures. And JT's like, not today.
Not today.
Right.
Not today. But you know what I mean? So I can understand you definitely don't want to tell someone like that. Like, you're already tripping over $3. Like, you're definitely going to judge me and come at me for my situation. And I just don't have the capacity to deal with that right now.
Because even though technically they're both men of the house, they're still living in two very different realities.
I was thinking that. I literally wrote that down about how they're both the men of the house, but they're living so differently with Kendall having a mother and with JT's situation. But it's not I wouldn't say that they're worse, like they're polar opposites or something like that, because Kendall's still dealing with a lot with his father just dying, and with him trying to hold it all in, and then having to look at his son, and his son asked, oh, you know, which one of these is Pop? You know, he's the best one. That probably really pulled at his heartstrings, because he's like, well, first of all, that's my son. So, I mean, I need to be as much of a good man as my father was so that my son can look up to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot on his chest as well, but he's very judgy. He needs to calm down with that.
Yeah.
Quick.
Because I think at the end of the day, they might actually have more in common than they have differences.
Yeah.
Right.
But before we move on, we just really quickly want to say thank you guys so much for rocking with us. This is an awesome new show. We love talking about this show every week. And we need your all's help to, you know, help us grow and to help us be able to continue to talk about this show every week. So if you guys could click subscribe right below this video if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, you can click subscribe there. Give us 5 stars. Let us know you guys did, and we will be happy to shout you all out. But for now, thank you guys so much for listening to us. We're on lots of other shows too, so you guys, you know, if you like watching us, like listening to us, be sure to check out our social media, because we're on a bunch of other shows for AfterBuzz TV, and you can go hang with us over there. Let's get into our boos, Simone and Kendall, because they're kind of going through 2 different things. Kendall is kind of having a little thing. It kind of feels like with Flo. How are we feeling about this?
I don't like it.
I do not like it. Don't like her.
Right.
We agree. Okay.
She got a big head. Not literally, but like spiritually, she big headed.
Yes. She not only is she big headed, she got a big mouth as well. She needs to be quiet and understand that Tessa is the leader here, not her. I understand she was flirting over there with, what was Bobby Brown's character? Rufus.
I think
she was flirting with Rufus with his tight outfit on, and so that made her feel like she was above. But no, you're still a dancer. You're still not being paid. These people trying to talk to you about unions. You're not trying to listen. Like, she's very defiant. And I think she's preying on Kendall.
Yeah, I think so too. She has like this diva attitude, but doesn't have like the diva money, the diva success. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like it's also like kind of naive for her to have this big attitude, because you don't really know that world yet. You're just hearing a small part of it, and you want to dance and all of that. But there's so much more. You know what I mean? If you really want to get in this industry, there's so much more that you're going to see, and it's going to shut you down, little girl. You know, that's what I feel about real quick.
I'm kind of hoping for that.
I'm hoping for it as well.
I think Kendall has like a weakness for
wounded birds.
Yeah, a little bit. What I found interesting is they're kind of bonding over KFC, and I was looking at the American Soul Twitter account, and apparently a lot of, when they were doing research for the show, a lot of the dancers from the show said that was actually basically the only compensation that they got was KFC.
Okay.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love KFC as much as, and as a Kentuckian myself, I love KFC. However, I got bills to pay.
Right.
So
real money is necessary.
My landlord's not going to take a drumstick.
Right.
So,
and rent back then was not expensive, but for the times, the chicken is not going to pay.
Listen.
Right. It's like we say that though, like, oh, it wasn't expensive, but then at the same time,
the dollar was a different thing.
Yeah,
right.
And they really weren't making, well, at the show they really weren't making anything, and then outside of that, those jobs as well really weren't paying that much. So.
Yeah. And they demanded so much of their time. Like, I'm going to keep you guys for the next 4 hours. Like, wait a minute, hold up, that's a shift.
Well, that's really Flo's fault.
We do agree on that, but still, they're not getting paid. So it's like, if they could have really just walked out, but under that pressure of, are you going to be there next week? Are you going to be dancing in the front? That's all that they wanted, and the dream was more important to them.
Meanwhile, our girl Simone is really trying to take this singing seriously. She's up in another club that she has no business being in because she's too young. But I do love that we get to hear her sing again, because I really feel like the critiques of, oh, her voice isn't soulful enough that we kind of heard in the beginning of the series, we're not hearing that anymore, because like the pain and whatnot that she's going through, like, we're really hearing it. And I love that she's saying natural woman, because the last episode, obviously, you know, she became a woman. So
she got deflowered.
She got deflowered as as the kids are saying.
Yeah, but now as the show goes on, I think we realize it was probably done on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, let's watch her evolve, watch her grow, watch her talent grow. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, you know, it's probably like Simone, or I forget her real name, but like, just tone it down, you know, for now, because we want you to belt out later. We want to show that grit and everything that, like you said, that pain that you're going through. We want it to come out in your voice. So yeah, it was like, calm down, people. Watch the show before like all this judgment you pass.
Chill. Our girl Tessa is going through a lot.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Tessa. Tessa ran the show this time. Like she was dealing with the fact that her husband husband is going through. He's a detective and he's studying all of this police brutality stuff that's going on. He has Johnny Cochran coming and talking to him and saying, I don't know about you, but I have 2 girls, and if my girls go run up against the cops, I want somebody to represent them and to get it right. So he feels pressure from there. You hear the other white cop coming to him like, oh yeah, we're the boys in blue. You know, thank goodness another thug is off the street. And he never once cracked a smile. I noticed that it didn't even matter to the other cop. He was just like, I don't care if you're happy with what I'm talking about right now. I'm putting you into the lump of you're a cop or you're a black guy. Yeah. And that's, I think, a struggle for many black males in law enforcement that I've spoken with. Even today, that they struggle with that whole loyalty to the blue or loyalty to the black thing. Yeah. And so that stood out. Then she was like saying that she might be pregnant, but then she had to do a little dance competition with Flo to let her know who was boss, and did the splits. Doing the splits might not have been a good idea for her because she ran immediately to the bathroom. I don't know if she threw up or if she was bleeding or what, but I am rooting for the baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope she's okay. But like they said, I mean, Tessa, she's kind of been dancing. She's more of like teaching them, so doesn't dance a lot, but she still is a dancer, and she still kind of, you know, keeps it going a little bit. And they always say if you're already active in those things, it shouldn't bother you during your pregnancy. I know they're having a hard time getting pregnant, so I'm just hoping that she's okay. You know what I mean? Like, your body's kind of used to the dancing, so maybe she just panicked. Maybe.
I was gonna say, she is under a high level of stress. And
that's true too.
Especially with her new assistant, babysitter / dance. Like, they have her doing everything. And I think it's a testament to how it was back in the days where you got one job, but you have 10 jobs. And as a woman, you should be able to handle this. It's not a problem. Even like what Elsa said, I wonder why men never ask what my alma mater is. Yeah. So they treated women a little differently back then.
Yeah, I definitely think the high stress. I mean, she pops off on Dawn at the end of this episode, which I think is needed. And I feel like if anyone's going to pop off on him and he's going to hear it, it's her. Because even though they have like he kind of like makes her his punching bag, I think her word is somewhat valuable to him.
I think so too.
More so than others. Right. Gerald. He's so like, it's funny because he's so, what is it? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I thought I was getting them mixed up for a minute, but Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because it's almost like when he's in the club and then when he's in his gang-ish, I almost thought he was 2 different people I was like, for a second I was like, wait, who is this guy again? And then they're like, girl, it's the guy in the club. And I was like, oh. Yeah. So he's not playing, y'all.
But I love how he has that smooth demeanor. He's based off of a character that was really in Don Cornelius's life. Now, he wasn't as brutal. I don't think that they said he was a nice guy. He loved the music. He connected with Don. He became his closest confidant. So that's something that I suspect that we'll see in the show. But on this one, he is gangsta. But he's so smooth though. Like, he's like, you ain't seen a dollar from me. It's like, okay, you're saying it really low, but then he brings in like 10 dudes to back him up. Like, okay, and I'm not worried about it.
When someone says something that calm, you should just feel concerned.
You should. You definitely should.
I remember being younger, my grandmama used to like, she'd be really mad and she'd go, and she'd start talking. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get beat. I'm gonna get beat right now. And that's, I mean, Gerald's not playing tonight. He R.I.P. to Mikey.
Yeah, poor Mikey. Oh my God, that was so hard to see because it's not that he was doing it. It's like softly. He was banging his head up against the thing. He was pulling a belt around his neck. I'm like, where were you raised? Like, why do you know how to do this?
He was not killing him softly with his song.
No, he was not killing him softly at all.
That is for sure. But he kind of checks Don, and he's basically like, you can't keep coming up in here trying to like rip off my axe without paying the piper. Yeah. And I kind of, I agree. Support Black business.
Yes.
I hear ya on that, but I also feel like all of the artists who are there are gonna get better exposure by being on Soul Train. So you need to work out some type of put your club on the show. Say something about your club. But I guess they didn't know about.
But if
that.
maybe if he does that, if Don kind of promotes the club some type of way, but I don't think he would be able to do that, like Family Time show and everything like that. But unless he was able to promote it, because the club guy is paying those artists when they come to his spot. So like I'm paying them, but yet you come and grab them for free.
For free. Oh
Yeah.
no, that doesn't work for nobody.
And in this point of where Soul Train is, you're basically like kind of harassing my acts a little bit and begging them to be on the show, and that's looking poorly on me because right now there's not a great reputation of you right now. It's not a bad reputation, but like people kind of think like, what's up with this guy?
Right.
Yeah.
They say that he's trouble.
Yeah.
He is trouble. Well, Don decides to roll up to the United Negro College Fund
He just
fundraiser,
yeah.
and he, you know,
Yeah.
He did what Don does.
His thirst is real.
His
Like I said, it's a
she
good
did.
thirst, but it is real.
it is real, and he bumps into Miss Elise Henny, and she is all kinds of fabulous.
All kinds.
Her dress was everything to me. I was like, I'd like that.
She's playing her part like that,
Right.
you know,
Debonair.
stuff. Yes.
Yes.
Classy. I loved her entrance.
Yeah.
Her entrance, first of all, not only did it save Don, which, listen, a black woman will save a black man. It happens, okay? We save him.
We've been
She
doing
walked
it.
in. He's asking the guy who was a straight up hater. You guys, I
Marcus.
could feel his energy right away. He was hating on him like, what's your alma mater? Where are you from? And she jumped in like, well, let me tell you where I'm from. And she actually seemed like she wanted to befriend him, even though at first their relationship was a little bit rocky.
Yeah.
But she wanted to befriend him, and she saw that you're nothing like these people. So let's have some fun. Impress me.
We're calling them friends.
We're gonna call them friends
They're
right
friends
now.
for
'cause-
now.
I'm just
Until he
saying.
impresses her.
Right.
I don't have friends that look like that.
No.
But I think besides that part of it, her being impressed by him, she sees I think she sees something different in him. Like at first it was like you probably are one of these regular guys that's just always trying to get over on people. You're just trying to make it or whatever. But she sees like his hard work and his dedication and thirstiness. Like he's gonna make it happen by any means necessary.
Yeah,
and I
right.
think she can kind of admire that, and now it's like kind of taking him in. Like, okay, I can kind of bring you into this circle. You know, it's gonna cost you some things, but I can start to bring you in.
Because he is feeling the pressure because syndicators are trying to pull the plug on this. You know, he's not getting the numbers they want.
He's not getting the artist they
The
want.
artist.
They
yeah.
want. But one artist does pop up at this party. None other than Miss Diana Ross, played by the lovely Michelle Williams.
Michelle killed it.
She sure did.
I loved her
Okay,
look.
honey.
I loved her music.
When she did,
very
when
dark.
she did the little arm thing, I was like, ooh, somebody been doing their homework.
Yes. And Don
like,
Cornelius
nailed
was
it.
doing his homework too, because he already knew the exact song to play for her to get her singing, which we were feeling that song too. It
Yeah.
reminded us of
Rudy Huxtable
Yes.
on the Cosby
on the
Show.
Cosby Show. So we felt like it took us back to our childhood to hear that part, and I loved her essence, like, and just you saw the power of Diana Ross with her collecting checks.
Yes, but I love that it was so true to Diana Ross because Diana Ross is one of the queens of shade, in my opinion, of classy shade, and she basically turns down his offer and said, you know, sometimes you gotta go to Hicksville more than once because she had to go to Hicksville multiple times to get Berry Gordy to sign her, and so she basically told him like, this is. You gotta work harder.
Right, your dream is work.
Which I
Yes,
live
right.
for. Know your worth, sis.
Yeah.
You're Diana Ross. I mean, I don't think she knew at that moment in time that she was gonna be the Diana Ross we know now.
Right.
But still, know your worth.
Right.
And so Ilsa kind of helps him out because she gives the $10K check and she puts it in
His
in
name,
both of their
yeah.
names.
Right, and she's like, "You owe me $5,000. Do not play. Do not pretend like that was a gift."
I don't know if I trust her completely. I like her, but I feel like because he's a married man, I don't trust her.
Oh, me in that aspect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. She wants to be impressed.
And she did say it really
I too.
sexually.
I too would like to be impressed.
I too. But I will say this, if anybody needs to be worried, it's kind of her a little bit, because she asked him to wait. She would introduce him to Diana Ross, but he took it upon himself to go dancing over here trying to get Diana involved and ready to, you know, basically work with him before he was ready. Sometimes you got to just wait and let someone introduce you.
True. I don't know. But at the same time, I feel like he made an impression on Diana. Like, that's why he selected the song, because with an introduction, it's just, this is Don Cornelius. He does this, and that may not last with her. You know what I mean? And it may have to, you always have to kind of remind her, yes, I met you with so-and-so. Remember that? That's the most awkward thing when you have to do that with someone, right? With that, it's like, she'll see him and be like, you know what I mean? Maybe even sing the song when she sees him. So he did something that will leave a mark on her mind about him.
No, I agree. I just think that as far as Ilsa, like, she should be looking at that like, hold up, like, are you trying to be really partners? Yeah. Or are you trying to have me help you? If so, then let's just communicate. Yeah. Like, it's not that difficult to communicate. Say, look, I want you to introduce me, but first I have this song I really want to play for her. Yeah, do that.
I think she kind of subtly checked him, though, by doing the whole writing the check in both of their names. Kind of like I saved you this time, but again, you owe me $5,000. Yeah. So I think it's going to take both of their talents to get the talent on Soul Train.
Yes,
I'm down with him having a sidekick and someone who he can bounce ideas off of. I think that he is a little bit too involved and aggressive.
I'm saying, as long as nothing else is bouncing in that relationship, then we good.
They better not.
Y'all better stop.
But you know what?
I think it's gonna happen.
He turned down the first lady because he said his daddy said never let a trick.
But like the way she had nothing to offer.
She had nothing to offer.
Yeah, that's true. So. But he seems like he's keeping it together. He loves his wife. You guys, I'm always going to be the positive one saying nothing's going to happen. And then when it happens, I'm like, damn.
We the man haters over here.
We're Aquarius. We don't trust men.
No, I'm a Sagittarius. I eat them. But I feel y'all, you know.
Not eat them, girl.
Right? I was like, oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh. Well, let's hop into, unless you guys have anything else.
No.
Let's hop into our soul spotlight. Okay. Well, you guys, like I said, YouTube is some haters, and so we can't show you guys clips from Soul Train anymore. But we can show you pictures. We
have a photo. So this week we are focusing on the dancers. So we have Rosie Perez.
Yes.
If you guys are not familiar with Rosie Perez, she's a dancer. She is an actress. She is from New York. And she kind of got her start on Soul Train. And she was kind of known for face dancing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was all in the body, but it was in the face too. I mean, look at this photo. You can see it's like.
She was serving, like, she's sex appeal.
Yeah.
She is. Yeah. And not only that, she was jerking that body. Right? Like, she really was in shape. Like, her favorite dance, y'all. Everybody, let's do her dance. Hold up. It's, I said, okay, so
she was not playing.
I turned around. I thought you were about to get up. And
you were like, hold on, I got y'all.
I was going to zoom the camera in on it.
But speaking of like fierce and sexy, she was also like very intimidating to some of the other dancers, especially like the women on set, and they didn't like her too well, so they didn't really welcome her too much. I'm wondering if she got locked in the closet. Oh, you know what I mean? I wonder if that came from her. You know,
and I wonder if Flo is possibly who knows,
right? Yeah,
patterned after her because people do not like her. Now she is not likable.
Yeah,
but Rosie is.
Yeah, Rosie is. But yeah, so that's what it said. Like she came on set and kind of just killed it, and her appeal and everything. People were a little intimidated by it, but that's how she got her start. Like I said, she was an actress.
She's in Pineapple Express.
Yes,
one of my favorite movies.
She is the queen. Yeah. So she's dope. So she is our soul spotlight for the week.
Well, thank you,
Miss Rosie Perez,
Miss LMarie. Let's hop into news and gossip.
Okay.
Question mark.
Yes. Hey, so just a little bit of news and gossip. This show is like so wonderful that no one gossips and no one has anything going on. But I will say this. Last night, they were at the Paley Center, the cast of American Soul, as part of their Black History Month celebration, and they asked them so many different questions, and we haven't gotten the video yet, but Cinqua Walls was looking good. Y'all see that? He was wearing him a nice wine-colored suit, and he was looking fresh. So I definitely I'm looking forward to that video.
I am impressed.
Yes, right, impressed. That's what we wanted to be, and he definitely did that for us. So as soon as the footage comes out, we'll be sure to let you guys know. I also want to talk a little bit about Tony Cornelius, obviously Don Cornelius' son, who recently opened up to Black Enterprise about the suicide. Now, a lot of the times he doesn't really talk about this. He doesn't really want it to be something that he focuses on. But he said Don Cornelius always wanted a Soul Train movie, so this is what kind of brought that up for him. And it was a conversation that he had with Stevie Wonder that moved him after his father's suicide to launch the Don Cornelius Foundation. So that came from an iconic person for him to talk to him about, hey, why don't you start something that can honor your father? Yeah. And then even from that, Tony Cornelius is now seated on the board of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention because of, how black families, especially back then and today sometimes, are really having a hard time dealing with that. So thank you, Tony, for your service and for what you're doing for mental health and for suicide awareness. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it, you guys. And you can always leave me something in the media, in the comments or on our social medias to let me know, hey, you forgot to talk about this, or why don't you talk about that? Yeah. I'm open to suggestions.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you, boo. Let's do some predictions because there's a lot that could possibly happen.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I believe that Dawn is going to impress Elsa. I think we're going to have a big blow up between Flo, Kendall, and Simone, because as we see, there's something going on there, and we all feel like Flo is going to try to use Kendall in some type of way, and Simone's going to pick up on that and go into sister mode and try to protect her brother. So, but the way Flo is, she's not going to back down easily. So I think that we're going to see some type of real big conflict between the two of them.
I hope Flo gets kicked off. Yeah. That would be good. Matter of fact, forget that. I'm putting that in my prediction. Flo is gone. Goodbye, girl. I'm tired of her. I'm also worried about the JT and his family, the lady where he works, Ma. I think that she is going to he's going to end up homeless because he can't let his mom get kicked out and then he just live comfortably there, even though, he's the child, but he feels like he's the parent. So he feels like he needs to be with her. I think that Tessa, she might run into some maybe miscarriage territory or have to go to the hospital or be on bed rest or something like that. I'm not trying to wish that on her. I hope it doesn't happen, but hey, it might. And I think that her husband is going to finally just man up and be like, you know what? Because he keeps going to his partner, talking to his partner about, this wasn't right and this guy died. He's going to just come out and do his own investigation, I think. So,
to bounce off of yours, I think he's going to do his own investigation, and I think it's going to lead him to JT. I don't think JT is in the clear quite yet.
Our boy.
And I agree about the Lisa and Dawn getting impressed with one another. And I think actually Encore is not going to last as a band very long. I think Simone is going to get kind of pushed into the solo career. Kendall... Agreed. I just don't think that baby is his. No,
I don't think that baby is his either.
The way genetics are set up.
Yeah, that's listen, I keep saying. I
understand being light skinned. I am light skinned, but
yeah, I'm like that's either bad casting or not his baby.
Yeah, I do not.
What y'all think it is? Let us know in the comments. Is it bad casting, or is that not his baby? Is the girl lying, or is it just
what is happening?
What is it?
But until next time, ladies, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at LMarie TV.
And you can find me at DShawnaO on Twitter and Instagram as well.
And next week we have a very special guest, but you guys are going to have to tune in to find out who it is. Until next time, I'm your girl, Drew Jones. You can find me on all the things at OKDrewJ. And until next time, peace, love, and soul!
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.